Hi, this is Dave from Club Dave Music, and today I'm going to show you how I built a portable stage in about a half hour that can be set up and torn down in under 15 minutes. Here are the materials. I made my stage 6x6 so I can store it in the shed. I used ground contact 4x4s since this will sit on the grass. The deck boards were kind of expensive, but nobody's going to step through one, and the 1x4s are to make sure the boards don't flip up. You can use any kind of bolts. I just got some hex head ones. My total cost of materials at the big box store was just under $100. My first step is to lay the 4x4s out with one at each end of my 6-foot square and one in the middle. Next, I mark the midpoint of 2 deck boards so I can place my third support right in the middle of the stage. Be sure to measure both boards. Mine were not all the same length. I'm not a carpenter and I don't have the skills or the patience to make this perfect, so I'm using my lumber mill cut ends and edges to square up the corners. I put a deck board at each end and make sure the middle timber lines up with the marks I made. Turns out my deck boards are not all exactly the same width, and I'm going to have about an inch overhang once they're all in place. I keep my square corner on one end and just let the other end overhang the whole inch. I use a rubber mallet throughout the process to tap things into place. I don't want to damage the lumber before the stage is even finished. Once I have the outline of the stage, I mark each corner of the deck boards. I numbered them 1 through 4. Like I said, I'm not a carpenter, but I can make sure the holes line up every time I set up the stage by matching up the corners by number. I'll mark the 4x4s after I'm all done. Now I'm going to lay a 1x4 across one side. When everything is put together, there will be a board holding down the stage floor at each end. I square up the board and mark each end with the same number as the deck board beneath it. The next step is to drill a 3/8 inch hole for my bolts through the 1x4, the deck board, and into the base. I'm drilling on concrete, so I'm not going all the way through the 4x4. For now, I only need the hole deep enough to keep all the pieces at the end of the stage together. And I'm only drilling one end of the stage because I'm not sure how the deck boards will fit. After I drilled the first hole, I put the bolt in the hole to hold the corner together and moved on to the other end of the stage. Can't forget to square up the corner and mark it. Once the holes are drilled, I laid my 1x4 boards aside and put bolts in the holes at both ends of the deck board at the edge of the stage. The holes were full of shavings, but I only need to make sure the bolts go into this 4x4. I'll drill all the way through the base later. After that, it's just a matter of laying the rest of the boards side by side. With the stage floor in place, I used the rubber mallet to get the boards as close together and as even on the ends as I can. Now I take out the bolts, place the 1x4s over the top, and replace the bolts at the end of the stage where I drilled through the 1x4 earlier. Making sure things are as tight and even as I can, I drill the last 2 holes in the other end and put in my last 2 bolts. And that's it. You can see the inch or so overhang on this end of the stage. Still looks pretty good, and it's very stable thanks to the 1x4. Now it's teardown time and off to the shed. When it's concert time, it literally takes under 15 minutes to set it all up. And let the music begin.
Well, Arthur, you don't have to sell. You don't have to give up your land. It's a great